Oh, staff show.
Once a week.
Good evening and welcome to City Council meeting. This is our regular City Council meeting for the 15th of March in 2022. We'd like to welcome all of you that are here tonight. Glad to have you, and like to welcome you to a wonderful City Council meeting. We're very entertaining. So,
Well, you must be for something.
for our roll call tonight, everybody is here, so we don't need to worry about having the roll call. We'll spend that. I would like to invite anyone that would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if they would do so, or offer to do so.
I will, Mayor.
Thank you.
Everybody please rise and repeat the pledge after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would next like to ask if anyone would like to give us a good thought or offer an invocation. Okay. You what?
I'd be happy to, if you like.
Thank you.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this opportunity to be here this evening. We're thankful for the community of Santaquin and the people therein. We're thankful for the stewardship that we have and the responsibilities that we bear. And we ask Thee for Thy hand and guidance in all things, and that we might be able to work on behalf of the residents and continue to make Santaquin a great place to live. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ben. First thing are the consent agenda items, and consent agenda items are things that we don't necessarily go through a whole definition of. Generally, they're bills and a few minor things. If there's something that the council would like to separate, you're welcome to do so.
Mayor, you skipped the declaration of potential conflicts.
I did that on purpose. No, I do have to hit that first. So can I back up for just a minute? We want to make sure that there are no potential conflicts of interest with anyone on the council that will be making a decision or voting tonight. So do we have a declaration from anyone that has a special conflict?
Yes, if you look at the agenda, item number 12 regards some property that I own, and I will excuse myself from the discussion and voting and go sit in the audience when that discussion takes place.
Okay.
Also, this isn't something that we're going to vote on today, but the Tanner annexation is coming up for discussion and public hearing. I do own property that borders that land. I just want to put that out there. It won't affect anything, but I just want to make sure that's declared.
Thank you. Noted. Going on to the consent agenda items, is there anything that you want to remove from any of those items that are pulled out? Then can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda items as is?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Mayor, where there's a resolution on this consent, could we have
do I have to go
a
to
roll call vote?
Roll call.
Okay.
Sorry.
You know, I've been in this job now for 2.5 months, and for some reason, every piece of those special items I'll finally understand, and then, you know, I can jump on it. But actually, I thought it was only for a resolution, so.
And there is a resolution as part of the consent.
Okay. Actually, we'll go ahead then. Councilman Hathaway.
Aye.
Councilman Meekum.
Aye.
Councilman Sidaway.
Aye.
Councilman Adcock.
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya.
Aye.
Motion's passed. Good enough?
Great.
Well, let's do it right. That's the important thing. We have in our midst the Volunteer of the Month, and in reading this wonderful letter and going through it, I was touched by the goodness of this person. We've asked Penny Reeves if she would go through this and read this introduction for us, so you can understand who the Volunteer of the Month is.
righty. Our March Volunteer of the Month is Willie Marvin. If you'll come up here with me. All right. Willie is being recognized as our March Volunteer of the Month for the numberless hours he has donated in coaching of our city youth sports programs. He regularly coaches several of our leagues, often coaching multiple age groups in the same season. He has head coached or assistant coached teams in the junior jazz basketball, baseball, t-ball, and flag football. His teams learn and improve skills quickly and are well prepared for their games. Willie gets great reviews from his team's parents, and the players consistently ask him to be their coach. He also provides an important voice in developing our sports programs as an interested stakeholder. Willie and his family have lived in Santaquin since 2004. He is married to Lacey, and they have 4 boys ranging in age from 5 to 14. He is an electrician by trade and has worked for Barnes Electric since 2009. He was born in Santaquin, graduated from high school in Spanish Fork, and finished his education at MATC. He enjoys anything outdoors, such as camping, hunting, fishing, and sporting events. Our recreation department sincerely appreciates the good influence Willie has on the youth of our community. He is a great coach and extremely deserving of this Volunteer of the Month recognition.
Would you like to say a few words?
We're going to have you come right up front.
Would you like to say a few
Go right
words?
up front,
Penny?
where the mayor
Penny?
is sitting.
Would you like him to say a few words?
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
So, I really appreciate the recognition. I don't do it because I want an award or anything. I do it because I love it. Spend time with my 4 boys that are here with me tonight. I mean, no better to be involved in what they do. So that's kind of why I do it. But it's also fun to, see the kids around town, and they come up to me at the gas station or the grocery store. Hey, coach! Hey, coach! So it's pretty fun, and to see them grow, it's a lot of fun for me. So to say I do it, that's why. It's just I actually love it. So thank you for the recognition.
Thank you. Come on up. Okay. Okay.
All right, let me get your photo. 1, 2, 3, and again, 1, 2, 3. And then can we have your family come up? Would that be okay? And so squish on in. Great. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, cheese. And there we go. Probably enough. Thank you.
I just had this great thought of every baseball coach I had as a kid, and he fits right in with them. I still call those old guys coach, but they're running out. Yeah. Next on our agenda is Miss Santaquin, and we would like to hear from you, the state of state, and your plans, and anything else you would like to tell us at this time.
I'm gonna trump her and go up first, and then she turns.
No. Yeah, go ahead. You knew I would do that, didn't you?
I did. I grew up with this guy, so I know what kind of a tease he is. Okay, I'm here as Keela Gowdy. I go everywhere as Keela Gowdy. I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. Anyway, nice to be here. I'm Keela Gowdy, along with 2 of our other directors, Mackenzie Lundell and Shelby Duell. I'm here to announce that there are 4 of us, 4 directors, and I'm the city liaison, so I'm the face that you see in the city. But those 2, along with Briley Pace, who couldn't be here today with 6 children, the 4 of us, we have it's equally shared, and we put in a lot of effort for this pageant. And I just wanted to take a moment and introduce the other directors, because I know there's new council members, a new mayor who may not have known who the directors of our pageant are. And so we are here to introduce ourselves and to also let you know how extremely proud we are of our program, as well as our current royalty, whom I will turn the time over to right now, our current Miss Santaquin, Molly Mortensen, and I will allow her to introduce her attendants.
Hi, like Keela said, I'm Molly Mortensen, Miss Santaquin, and these two are my wonderful attendants, Jade Haymore and Karen Rowley. My platform this year is Find Confidence, Make the World Your Stage. I have, ever since I got this title, I have been able to serve our community monthly by welcoming kindergartners to their first day of school, visiting residents as Seasons of Santaquin, socializing at the Rowley's Red Barn, volunteering at the Senior Citizen Thanksgiving Lunch, performing during the Santaquin holidays, teaching line dancing to a lot of young women and young men groups around, and judging different science fair projects at the school. So I have had so much fun serving our community, and something that I found very successful was doing my adult prom just last February. It turned out very successful, so that was super fun. And these two have been awesome. They've come with me to a lot of these things and have helped me serve as well, so thank you guys for supporting me. And also our directors are so good, and I know that they care about me, not as just Miss Santaquin, but as an individual too. They have shown me that, so thank you to you guys too. And also, we have had somebody give us a shout out on Instagram. Our whole Miss Santaquin pageant has got a shout out by this guy that goes to all around Utah to all these pageants, and so he said that Miss Santaquin was really enjoyable to watch. So that was awesome too. So yeah.
Thank you. I do want to say one thing.
Yes.
I got to judge the STEM with you.
Oh yes.
That was such an incredible time, and you need to know this young lady took those little kids under her arm, and you know, when a young man or a young woman is doing a science project and they're trying to explain what they did from electronics to eggs, she took such an interest. It was just fun to watch her as much as the youth that were doing their science fair. And you presented yourself so well. Thank you for doing that too.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
Can we get a picture with you and the mayor as well?
Of course.
Don't you want some beauty in the picture? On my part, they've got all that.
Don't be heavy. Right that up.
You want me here so you can crop me out?
This is a touch-up.
Yeah, touch him up.
Would you like one with your directors?
Yeah, all right.
Can we get our directors? Oh, sorry. Do you want to
You were just fine.
I'm saving that behind you.
If you come up with
I'm Mark.
excellent. Stick this old man in the middle of all that.
There we go. There it goes. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Good night.
I think we need a mask that the mayor can put on that would make me look, you know, like somebody that looks really nice or something. Especially with that. They're beautiful. we need to move on right now. We have the appointment of two special people. And this is something that has been some very good things incoming. We've made some changes with the city in the last couple of months. And with a couple of people that have left recently and with some things that we've had to move around, we have been able to take some of our people that work within the city and give them new responsibilities and a chance to grow. And it has been fun from my standpoint, and I hope as a whole council, as we've seen some of these new assignments go out, that makes a difference with how people feel about their jobs and about what they can do. And we want those employees of the city to know that we as a council are behind them, and we love the work that you do and the heart that you put into everything. And it's so important. And to see a new hire come in today, but also the moving up into a new position for one of our fine staff is just incredible to me. So we would like to do these individually, I guess, at this point. And their swearing in will take place with the staff in the next few days. And you guys will arrange that and take care of it? Okay. And if I can be there, would you just let me know when that's going to take place? Okay. Very good. So what we would like to do is appoint as our city recorder Emily Otley. And Emily, would you like to stand up? We do you want to just introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. My name is Emily Otley. We just moved here to Santaquin just over a year ago. My family, my husband works from home here in Santaquin, and I have 3 children. My oldest is 17. She's a junior at Payson. My middle one is 14. She's at the junior high school, and my youngest is 10, and he's at the elementary school. We came from Saratoga Springs. I worked for the city there for 7 years, and I'm excited to get the position here and bring my knowledge here, and hopefully I can do a good job. I'm excited to work with Dennis and with Ben, so I'm really grateful for the opportunity. So my background is in the Justice Court. I ran the Justice Court there. I also worked in HR, so I've got lots of municipal experience, and so hopefully I can be of some help. And I'm moving to Santaquin, honestly, was the best decision that we've ever made, and so we're just so excited to be here. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So we had quite a few people that applied for these jobs, had some incredible people to select from with great skills, yet differing skills in some cases. We're very grateful to add Emily to our city staff as the city recorder. So I need to call for a motion to appoint Emily Otley as the city recorder.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Jeff? Second? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Emily, you have the vote of the council by 100%. We look forward to it. When is your first day?
Monday the 21st.
Next Monday.
Next Monday. I took a week off to spend some time with my kids, and we spent it today at the dentist.
That's quality time right there.
Thank you, and thanks to your family. Our second appointment is for city treasurer, and this is Joyce Lamb. She is a wonderful person that we rely on heavily. Joyce, would you like to stand up and say anything?
Stand up.
You want to go to the microphone? Because I want to hear that. You're going to hold that against me?
No, it's not my.
Thank you for all that you do. You are there every time I walk through those doors, and you are very, very much appreciated. thank you for this, and she is an incredible person who already worked for the city but has had a chance to move up, and we appreciate your desire to do so. I know it brings a little bit of extra stress, but from everything I'm told, you can handle it all.
Well, I hope.
Okay.
Can I just say a few words about Joyce?
Would you?
Yes.
I would like that. Would you stand up? We want this on record.
She won't. I will. So Joyce has been with the city for about 15 years? 17 years? Okay. She's just been part-time, but she started as just an office clerk and then was asked to take on the utility billing probably 8 or 9 years ago, when our treasurer left. So she's been doing the utility billing, which is part of normally a treasurer's responsibilities for a lot of years. So she's going to be continue doing that, but adding a lot of the treasurer responsibilities as well, and kind of pushing down some of those utility billing things to some of our clerks. She's done a fantastic job, and I have every confidence that she will be able to do these treasurer duties, and have total faith in her. So,
Thank you, Shannon. So I would like to entertain a motion to appoint Joyce Lamb as the city treasurer.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Art Adcock, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Thank you. Thanks for your service, Joyce. Looking forward to you, Emily, soon. So that's very good. We'll move on. There was nobody that had signed up for the public forum. However, if there is somebody that would like to take a few minutes, you have up to 5 minutes. Since there are no names on it, would anybody like to speak?
Would that be about the annexation?
No.
No, that'll be the next item.
Yeah, that's in a minute.
Oh, I see. Not next meeting, next.
Next
No.
item.
Yeah, it's another item. Okay, thank you. Good. So that brings us to item number 9, which is the Tanner annexation petition. There's more than 44 acres, and it's out on 900 South and Summit Ridge Parkway. This acreage, last time anyone drove across it was for a fire when all the trees burned off. And it's been locked up for some years now because of different development reasons. This was presented to go forth. Permission to proceed was given 2 months ago. And basically what we are doing, we are going through all of the requirements so that everybody understands we are going to get all the I's dotted, T's crossed, and every T dotted and I crossed before we get through this. The important thing is that we follow the procedures, because everybody's property is guaranteed to them by the Constitution of the United States. They have that right. And so in this type of a public hearing, it's maybe a little different than what your expectations may be when you come to a meeting like this, because the council is here to hear if there are issues that you would like to bring up so that we can make note of them as we go forward, because they can't go forward without an annexation, and we need to make sure that we get all of the annexation information that we want instituted into that, which would include what we're looking for in zoning and lot size and everything else. So your input tonight is what we would like to take. You won't necessarily get a lot of feedback, because our information is, or our responsibility at this point of this annexation process and development process is to gather the information and make sure that we're meeting the needs of the city as well as the property owner. So with that in mind, I am going to start with a little bit of a discussion about this. The process has only begun with an introduction from us to say, okay, move forward. There are no promises that have been given. There is nothing that has gone before the planning and zoning. The commission will not have looked at it. There are things that we want to certainly keep in mind with the development that's already out there. But also, if you will have followed Santaquin City, we've also, over the last couple of months, and probably much before that, been making changes to resolutions and to code to make sure that things are the way that we see this city needs to build, such as lot size, as street sizes, as parks being brought in, and everything else. And we have made changes to streets and roads and other things, and they will fall under this kind of new development. So with that in mind, you have a couple of minutes. I don't want you to go over 5 minutes for anything that you have to say, but I would like to hear from anyone that would like to take some time and express any issues or concerns that they may have. So I will open it up to the, and what I will do at this point, as soon as we're done with some of this comment, I would like to address the council, and we could discuss just for a moment a few of these items as we go forward, okay? Things that we may want to take or make note of. So do you have something you'd like to go over?
So there was a sign-up sheet. That's usually the procedures we follow as far as nobody signed up, so it's just first come, first served.
So if you would like to say anything about it, you are more than welcome to stand up and address us. We would like to invite you.
We do need a motion to go into public hearing, though.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. It's another one of those Robert Rules of Order that I've kind of put in the back of my mind.
Mayor, I'll make a motion, we go into public hearing.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No roll call on that one either.
728,
728.
is that your motion, Councilmember Adcock?
Sure, yes, ma'am.
Would anyone like to say anything? Is there anything with developments? I know it's killing you, and I would like to just invite you to stand up. You know what? You're okay. You're with family here.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. And I was noticing what a nice man you are. And it's really appreciated. You're just a really nice man. Anyhow, my name is Melanie Maines. I haven't actually been out for about 3 or 4 years now because I've just been trying to get my property done, my house done, everything. I thought I would take advantage of the COVID thing.
Do you live here in town?
I do.
Okay.
Right on the annexation.
Okay. Right on it or adjacent to it?
You live right about here, right? Somewhere in this area?
Closer to the red.
Where?
Right there.
Right there, okay.
Oh, I know that neighborhood. That is
Yeah.
the funnest neighborhood
It
in
is an
the
excellent
whole city.
street, right.
Anybody
It
that
is.
wants to go to a party
Yeah.
there needs to go.
It is. Got 2 country bands right there.
You bet. I love
It's
that.
really good. And we decorate real cute for holidays too. Okay, so we used to live in Alaska, and I used to have horses also before that. So I agree. I have a Texas mentality, bigger the better. So I have almost an acre right there, and we bought about 14 years ago. So what I would like to propose is certain things that will benefit everyone. And it's not different really than, okay, well, the first thing I would like to actually propose is a building moratorium. No building at all. And the reason for that is we're already worried about water. And now we're thinking about 100 to 150 homes coming in there. Wash machines, sprinklers, all of the showers, bathtubs, all of that. I haven't heard anybody talk our past mayor was talking about before there wasn't probably enough water to do the proposed ones that we just put in, the 150 or whatever that was up on the ridge towards when you go down the road. And I don't mean the townhomes. That was a surprise for me. But if you're, who knows? So I would like to find out from the city or from the county or whatever, what about the existing residents? Because we really don't want to have a water shortage or problem. We love it that we have regular water, culinary water, and then we have enough to water our grass. I'm actually a landscaper and gardener, so that's my main thing. I gave up the horses and I've done this. So what I would like to propose is a complete building moratorium. We had bought a long time ago, my parents and I had bought a mountain lot up in California, and it's called Cedar Pines Park. They put a building moratorium. We never could put a cabin on it or anything. They knew from their governance that there was not enough water up there to satisfy the existing ones, plus all this building that was going to go on up there. I don't know if they ever took it off, but what I was proposing is a 5-year building moratorium for that entire annexation of a lot. If that is not possible, then the next thing I propose is 1/3 to 1/2 acre lots. Stretch out a little bit. Not every inch needs to be built on or have a house on. The other thing is, for 14 years now, everybody up in this area has enjoyed a view of the lake. And I think it's unfair, sad and unfair, that everybody loses their, almost everybody, loses their beautiful view of why they moved into Heavenly Valley, of Happy Valley. Because of that, we toured through all of the western states and found Payson Valley that you could live on the hills and look at the mountains. It's one of the only areas like that. And I find that we just keep building and building and building and just like scalping everything. I would really like it to stop the building. I understand from a realtor that something like 900 homes is going to go on the ridge behind us. That was going to be horse property and luxury homes. And now it just seems like we just throw whatever small little house we can get on there. I don't know what all this money's going towards. I just can't imagine why we need to keep on building. But if we absolutely have to build there, then I propose the larger lot size and only 1 story. I live in a 1-story. Most people live in a 1-story here. With the basements, it gives us a lot of room, 4,000 square feet. So that's what I propose.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll take note of those things, and we will answer those things as we go forward. And
I do have one other question. You said something about everybody has the right to build on their own lot, right?
everybody has a right to ownership of their lot, but you can only build in accordance with zoning laws. Yeah. And if it isn't Santaquin, then it's county.
Does that mean it goes without your jurisdiction and
Uh-huh.
without protection?
But they wouldn't do anything, mainly because it's kind of in the middle of us all.
We're not recording her when she speaks. I'm sorry.
Do you want to go back up and state that?
Stay what?
Well, it's all being recorded because it's all for
So
clarity.
if you don't speak into the
and-
mic, the public doesn't hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. What did we just say? What was that part? What I was saying, is it really even, you say their lot or they're selling it off immediately into little teeny itsy bitsy pieces.
A developer is still a landowner.
Okay.
And he does have rights, just the same as a single property owner. The Supreme Court has already said there's no difference.
Wow.
Yeah, that's out of our control. So
Okay, so do we have an idea how much Santaquin's going to build up? Because obviously we just did it over across the freeway. We're doing it everywhere. Why? Why can't we just skip over to Mona or Nephi? It's a
No.
good question.
thank you. I would love to answer all of those, but I think they will be answered in due time. And thank you for your information.
And how does that get answered? By a letter, or by another meeting, or?
It's through this whole process. So it's kind of drawn out a little bit.
That's great. It'd be
So
great if it kept on drawing out, actually.
unfortunately, this is the process that we have to go through. And we're just trying to make sure that we hear those things that we need to address. And if we can't do that legally, then okay, we probably won't call you up and say, well, sorry about that, but you will see that that's the direction we're going. You can contact us at any time. We're more than willing to talk with you or make sure that your needs or your issues are addressed.
See what I mean? You're a very nice man. You really are. It's great.
Sheesh. Okay.
Very good, very good.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll be making an appointment specifically with you, I guess?
Anytime or
Okay, great.
anybody in here.
Okay.
You're
very good.
welcome to.
Thank you.
Okay? Are there any other things?
Yes.
Boy, you do. And you have to state your name. And we take fingerprints off of the podium and match them. Criminal record thing.
So we just moved in.
Right up to them, because the public actually can't hear.
We
at
actually
home.
need your name, too.
And your name, yeah.
Oh, that too?
Yeah, that's important.
Juliana Padova.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So we just moved in 5 weeks ago into those houses that were just built. Sorry. But the reason we moved out here is because we like the smaller town. Unfortunately, we're from California. We didn't move here from California. We moved away from California to Reno, and then moved from Reno because we wanted something more close-knit, a smaller town. We wanted to get away from California. But so my question is, and I'm a little confused because obviously you see things floating around. Does a developer already own it?
Yes.
So really there's nothing we can do about anything.
Oh, no, there is. And everything that we do from input from the citizens are the things that really guide the way in which we can make agreements with them to fit within the zoning restrictions that we can give them legally. And so all of that we will take into consideration. Then the planning and zoning will meet over it as well with recommendations, changes, updates, as well as from our city staff, our planning commission, our community development, and we will make sure that everything fits within the zoning the city has and that we can apply to that annexation.
Okay. So being a family that just was looking and looking and looking, it took us 7 months to get into a house. I can say that one of the problems we had was actually looking for a decent size lot with a decent size house. And I understand almost all the houses out here are, I call them 2-story because it's 1 story with a basement. But for a family of 3, we live on the top level. We don't have teenagers and a bunch of people that we want a 2-story. Like, we wanted a 1-story, and one of the problems we were finding was all the houses were smashed together and not enough land. But with that being kind of on the side, if they're gonna bring in all these houses, how does that affect the schooling? Because so my daughter's gonna go into kindergarten, so I'm trying to figure out where she's gonna go. And something that from what I understand, there's an average of, I think she said 20 to 25 students in the kindergarten class.
but there's no limit. So if you're bringing in all these kids, all these families with kids, we don't have, it's my understanding that Santaquin doesn't have a junior high or a high school, right? Like, we don't even have that. So what's gonna happen if we bring in all these families? Do we have enough going on in the city to accommodate all that?
Well, I'll answer your question because it seems to me like you're going off on a little bit of a tangent from this particular thing.
Okay.
And I'm going to do this for my own gratification, I guess. The school district has purchased property on the east and north side of town for a high school.
Oh, okay.
And on the north side of town for a junior high school, they have property that they own that is west of the particular downtown school. What do they call that? Central School? What do they call the? Santaquin Elementary. And they also own 20 some odd acres out on Summit Ridge. And they make the decision. And that is all decided on rooftops. And the district, the school district makes that without even conferring with us. We beg and plead and try to move things around.
So if we bring in more houses, and they're gonna accommodate that.
I don't know if I could state that any different. Lynn, do you know?
No, that's exactly right. When there's enough kids that the elementary schools in town are full, they'll build another one.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And it takes 6 to 7 elementary schools before we get a junior high and a middle school and then a high school from there.
Oh, okay. So that really has nothing to do with how many houses we're sticking in a little parcel.
Even though a major portion of your taxes pay for the school district, yeah, we need to make sure that we have voices at the school district level. So whenever you can go to their meetings,
I'm on it.
And stand up, that's what we want. Don't tell them how long you've lived here, just stand up and say what you want.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else? Sure.
You got 40 acres right there.
Hi, my name is Michael Maines. I'm also a resident of Summit Ridge. And we've heard from my wife.
You live with this fine lady.
Yeah, I did. But I remember when we purchased our home here. It was somewhere around 13 years ago. I think you said 14, but we bought from the original developer. We bought from a contractor who had obtained our lot from the original developer. And at that time, we asked questions. As my wife said, we'd gone through Colorado, New Mexico, Wyoming, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, looking for the lot we wanted to buy and build on and have our home. Just 14 years ago, or 13 years ago, whenever it was, this whole area had a different flavor than what it does now. We're under the original HOA agreements. We've had developers come and go, and every time a developer comes in, it's a different HOA and different restrictions, tighter restrictions, more stringent restrictions. And so every time a new developer comes in here, it's seems like everything just keeps getting cranked down and tightened up around us, and it's taken away the flavor of the area that we first bought into. And we've kind of put up with it, but it's really become a different experience living here than what we expected when we first bought here. This lot that we're talking about, this parcel, was owned by the Tanners. The original developer had bought an extremely wide right-of-way for the Summit Ridge Parkway. built the road on there, and then we ended up with what they called an extortion strip so that tanners couldn't have access off of Summit Ridge. Now, I kind of thought that was unfair to tanners, to tell you the truth, but it was one of those things that was told to us at the time we purchased our lot. And so we never expected building at all to go on that lot. I always thought it would be some sort of rural development that went on, and not another addition to the subdivision. So as developers have looked at that parcel, they've had to overcome this extortion strip or protection strip, whatever you want to say. Well, in talking to Dennis today, he told me that that had been overcome. I'm not sure how, but I'm not sure who actually owned that piece of property to the side of Summer Ridge Parkway, but apparently they sold it to Ivory Homes, or their parent company, and so now we have the access to there, and we have Ivory that's going to build homes. And I'm with this lady and my wife. I don't want to see small homes here. As you read through small homes, small property, as you read through Facebook, you know, for Summer Ridge neighborhood, those people are constantly fighting, especially during the winter, for access on those narrow streets and those narrow lots. They don't have room to park their trucks and their trailers, especially their trailers. They don't have, a lot of them don't have the necessary driveway length to even get a full-size vehicle in there. I've seen them. My wife's noted that there will be an additional drain on water, specifically. You know, you're also going to have to tie into sewer, drainage, and those types of things. My daughter owns a lot in down by Lehigh, up on a ridge, and I never would have thought that they could have a flood. Well, one year they had a flood, and it's because the storm sewer wasn't big enough to handle all of the homes that had gone in there, and the road systems that collected the drainage, it couldn't handle it, so it spilled out over the grates of the storm drain and flooded the homes. They had actual river running down where she was on the upside, and the people on the downhill side had floods, flooded 4 or 5 feet into their basements. So I just want to make sure that if we're going to do this, that we have planned for like irrigation water, you know, for the pressurized irrigation, that the piping that has been installed now is big enough to handle the additional flow rates that are going to go on with the addition of these homes.
Thank
and
you.
one way of helping that would be to have bigger lots.
Okay.
So instead of having quarter size, you know, I'd have a third acre.
Okay, I can only give so many minutes out because we have to keep the meeting rolling, and I appreciate every point that you've made up. I've made notes of it, and everybody else will too, as well as they are taped.
Okay. So, but my final point, the point I want to emphasize, is that for us that have lived here for a while now in Summit Ridge, we bought with an original expectation. I know a lot of people that had lived in Spanish Fork, they lived in Payson, Salem, that had sold, moved to Summit Ridge because it was more expansive. And now everything that seems to be going on is it just keeps getting narrower and narrower. Another thing that you might think about doing is instead of building right along I-15 corridor, let's try getting it out a ways, away from I-15, because you have a real problem on the Main Street exit off of I-15. That thing's a pain in the neck to try and navigate.
Believe me, I'm working on it. I want to tell you, I really am. So,
and this one down here is going to start getting overcrowded as well.
yeah,
So
you're dead on. So,
another thing, last thing, are you going to require a wall around this thing
That's the surrounding area, not the
from the developer?
that is one of the points that you can state, and we'll make a note of it. And I don't know that particular process myself, but it's certainly something that I'll put on my notes. I'm sure the others will too. So,
Okay, so help us maintain the flavor of what used to be a rural subdivision type setting. And now it's just getting to be a urban blight nightmare.
thank you.
Take notes while I was speaking. If you write anything down with me.
The whole meeting is being recorded and on video and on YouTube. So.
Yeah, there's some things that I remember. I've got this perfect mind, and it is photo quality, except for when the photos go away. But they are perfect. But not to make fun of anything, honestly, everything that is said here, I thank you for. I appreciate your input, and we will make considerations and also make our discussions and decisions as best we can. Are there any other things that would like to be stated?
I actually have just a quick question. I don't have to stand up, do I?
How quick?
Pretty quick.
Yes, you do have to stand up.
Okay.
Sorry.
One gal show here. When will the next thing? See, okay. So I was going to meet with you, but I don't know if it's all done within tonight.
No,
Or if
no.
it's gonna
This
be
is
ongoing
months.
for
This is
2
months and
days,
months
or-
long to do this process.
Okay.
Mayor, might I recommend if you go to publicnotice.com, utahpublicnotice.com, you can sign up for Santaquin City, and any agenda, for city council, planning commission
So
are
that's how
automatically
it's done.
emailed to you. So utahpublicnotices.com on Google or
Okay.
Utah Public Notices, search for that and sign up, and they'll be sent right to you.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
And
Personally.
by the way, thank you for this forum. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Are there any other things? I'll have to say something. Sure. I better take a note or two here, though. This could haunt me.
Good evening, everyone. Antonio Di Donato is my name. I am Juliana's husband, and want to first of all thank you all for enabling us with the opportunity to move here. I understand the concerns of some of the folks here. We're all human beings, and we're all looking for economic opportunities. The reason why we did leave California because it did not meet our needs that were moral needs or moral conditions or economic conditions, or their way of life didn't align with our way of life. Reason why we moved, and I dare say that oftentimes that is the case with many people. Reason why they move out of these states that are highly populated, high taxation, and so on and so forth. And for that, I want to thank you and for welcoming us here. There seems to be issues, from what I hear, that folks would like to keep the flavor that Santaquin offers as it is, and I'm for that. I welcome that. But at the same time, there are economic forces that push people to do things, such as even this committee here. What is the objective here? Ultimately, to generate more revenue, tax revenue, sales revenue, property taxes? I don't know. What is it that we really want to do here? Do we want to grow in population, or do we want to grow in means to generate revenues, such as maybe people come in, perhaps more businesses. Right now, we are facing with the monopolistic businesses that offer basic needs such as groceries, and for anyone that wants to get something at a decent price would have to go outside of this town. Perhaps if you're annexing land, it has already been decided what we're going to build there. Can we build something that perhaps is a business that would also generate property taxes? Is that what we're here for? Property taxes to grow? These are questions that I'm curious about. I want to make. I don't have that power. I would think it would be a good idea if we make it a win-win situation so that we may keep our way of life in this town that I gotta say I really enjoy, which is why I moved here in the first place. But at the same time, if we are gonna build anything, does it have to be homes? Can it be anything else that'll generate property taxes to sustain the economic forces that are in this town? Can it be businesses, for example? An auto parts store would be nice, so I don't have to go all the way to Payson for it, or even wherever else that the things may be needed. Maybe restaurants, more restaurants. I don't know. These are just ideas. I'm just brainstorming, if you will. But I get what everyone is saying here, and I get what the concerns are, and I'm all for that. But at the same time, we wanted to make it a win-win situation for everybody. I mean, do we want more people? Do we want more congestion, more traffic? Then we're going to have to expand the lanes. We're going to have to expand the streets. What is it that we really want? What is it the people of this town really want? These are questions that perhaps, these are just seeds as I speak of that perhaps may trigger some thought in your minds. Ultimately, you guys have a saying in deciding what happens or doesn't happen, regardless of what's being said at this podium. And all I dare do is just plant some seeds. That perhaps isn't just homes that bring more people, but other ways to generate revenue for this town. Because as somebody already mentioned, the water usage seems to be an issue in this town. I don't know, how do we get even more water here? You know, I mean, there are some folks that have been here, living here a long time, and God bless them for that. You know, they're probably part of this, of the flavor of this town. And but you know, at the same time, there's other people that are looking for opportunities, which is why we moved here. So think about that as you make your decisions as to what it is you want to do. Let it be a win-win situation. So not only that these people that own this land want to build, but can we decide what gets built there? You know, that's what I got to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any other things? Appreciate the input. Oh, Mike, did you have one more?
One more quick thing. It was actually prompted by what he just said. Okay, so Mike Baines again. And one thing I forgot, on the original flavor of when we moved here, the townhouses that are being built down by the soccer field, those, 14 years ago, that wasn't going to be that. We were told there was going to be businesses. That was going to be a business district. And it's one of those things that, like I said, we just keep getting cranked down on with additional living spaces, is that was supposed to be a business district and not a multifamily living district. And it keeps changing. I mean, the nature of this town has changed so much in the 14 years that we've owned here. And I just wanted to remind you of that original, of what Santaquin used to be. Don't turn it into, keep that Santaquin flavor.
Thank you very much.
Love the rodeo arena.
Can I just tell you one thing? There's one other person in this whole room that is multi-generational from here, but I'm a 6th generation Santaquinite. You won't find many of us. Well, there's 3 of us, sorry. But I want you to know, we have seen all of this, and a lot of the things that get brought up have been brought up for a lot of years, and if we would have done some of these things that I heard 40 years ago, we'd still be that little 4 square block of town. So Yeah. So think about it. So, but thank you. We do need to move on. I thank you for your input. I will think, and this council will use this as we go ahead with the next steps in this. I do want to ask, is there anything that you would like to say, anyone, as part of this hearing? Then I would entertain a motion to get us out of the port.
So moved.
That's what it is. I was looking for the right word, sorry. You did? Oh.
I went to high school with the Drafted, so
good.
More multi-generational people.
So,
The motion's been made.
do we have a second?
Second at 8:01.
Roll call vote. So, Councilmember Montoya,
Aye.
Councilman Adcock,
Aye.
Councilman Sidaway,
Aye.
Councilman Meekum,
Aye.
Councilman Hathaway.
Aye.
Motion passed. We're out at 8:01. Okay. Now, we'll take all of those and we will move forward from that point. I don't believe there's anything else that we need to do on that tonight, is there?
No, there's no action tonight. It's just a public hearing.
So all of those things we need to just keep in our notes and work on as we go forward. Do we want to go over the building permits right now so we can at least get a number of where we stand? Because these guys want to know what we're building.
Yeah, so to give you an understanding of year-to-date where we're at in comparison to past years, right now, year-to-date, we are sitting at 102 new homes. These are building permits that have been issued. You can see at this time last year, we were at 119, so we caught back up a little bit of where we were this time last year. And then as you can see, I have the previous years up there. I guess I can the mouse will work for me. But yeah, last year total we had 570 new homes. The year before that was 430, and then previous to that was 214. So that's the report I got for you there. New business licenses. We have quite a few new businesses. Nearly all of them, except for Santaquin Dentistry, are home occupations. In coordinating with Camille, who does a lot of work with our business license, she gave me some information that I thought was interesting. I'd share with you. Last year at this time, last year in total, we had 38 total home occupations that were issued. A year to date, and we're barely into March, we've already had 22 new home occupations. So there's definitely a lot of people who are interested in doing side businesses or doing home-based businesses. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. But I guess with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have about building permits or business licenses.
Anyone with any questions? Okay, good. We'll just move on from there. Number 10 was an ordinance to modify the standards for fencing in private property, and this is something that became an issue as we were looking at issues that came out throughout the city. There were things that were different. We're just trying to clean up the ordinance. However, we're not ready to move on that. So I would like to entertain a motion to table this till next week so we can have review from the legal aspect of this before we go forward.
Till next meeting.
Next meeting. What did I say, next week?
Next week.
You guys be here next week, I won't be here.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. With that is tabled, so we can put that on for the agenda for next meeting in May, April, okay? Whenever. There was an issue that the previous council took an action on, and this is our item number 11. under ordinances that we need to address tonight, and it has to do with truck stops and putting truck stops into our city and what we can do about it. The previous council made a decision, and the decision was to place a moratorium so that no truck stops could be put within the city. Now, this didn't include things like a truck repair shop or things such as that, but it limits the ability for a regular truck stop with multiple 18-wheelers type of thing that would pull in. They could sleep. The machines would run all night if it was cold outside, and if they had refrigerator trailers on, and those would be running. And the council asked that we put those on hold, or they put it on hold in November. So we've got just a few weeks before we have to decide yay or nay. And tonight we are going to entertain adopting the zoning regulations as they were approved, as they were not approved, or changed, or held up, or whatever they did. I'm not saying that correctly.
Recommended.
They recommended that they were not placed. I don't know. We'll go through it. What I wanted to do.
Not permitted in a C1.
Yeah. So before I screw this up completely, I've asked Councilman Sitaway if he would just give a report from the planning and zoning. I know Councilman Adcock was there as well, and so I would like a little input and kind of where we want to go with this.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of discussion on it in the Planning Commission last week. They changed the wording a little bit. Commissioner Gunnell, who wasn't there, sent in a kind of a revised statement for the truck stop definition. They adapted that one. It's a little bit more limiting, and that gives a better definition of what actually what we could call a truck stop or not. Commissioner McNeff had some concerns because Maverick, she thought, might have been able to be defined as a truck stop, but ultimately they decided that it would fall outside those parameters. The biggest concern most of them had was defining it in the C1 zone. Where we have the C1 zone right now, it's a little sporadic across the city, but it's mostly right there, by the Rowley's orchards, across the street from the Red Barn, and then over on the highway up on the north end. Pretty much everyone thought those weren't the best locations for a truck stop. If we want to put a truck stop in, those wouldn't be where we want to put it. And because of the location of where our C1 zone is right now, they essentially unanimously voted to, adopt this definition, but not allow this type of structure or facility in the C1 zone. Now, a lot of them like the idea of having a truck stop in town. There's one in Nephi and two in Springville, and between there's nothing else. It can bring in a lot of revenue. It can be a good thing if it's properly placed. But where the C1 zone is right now, it just isn't a place that we want that type of business to be put.
The one thing that I think we really need to note is there is no corporation, no company that wants to build a truck stop in Santaquin right now.
Yep.
And so this is, even after farmers have called us and talked to us personally about this kind of an issue, this is the decision that it looks like the planning and zoning want to move forward on, that they had approved to go with these changes. So are there any other comments? With that,
Mr. Mayor, if I could maybe speak to it just a little bit. So I have the language up on the board. This is the drafted ordinance. Basically, it's two components. It's a definition for truck stop, since we don't have one thus far, and then down below would basically be listing it as a land use in the interchange commercial or C1 zone, and then it propose that it would be listed as a prohibited use. However, in speaking with legal counsel, and I've highlighted what he added here. Adding "and either" there, he felt like would better encompass some of the sentiments that the council had talked about in their work session, and making it clear to cover basically all those scenarios of what a truck stop would be. So our recommendation would be that you consider this ordinance, but apply just these couple words as shown, which will help clarify it from more of a legal standpoint.
You all read that?
Yeah.
You all feel comfortable with it? I do have a question. You've gone through it legally. Does it look good?
Well, I think it looks fine legally. My question, when I was in the other room listening to the work session, it appeared to me that the way I read the language of the definition wasn't exactly in line with the discussion that you were having, where if any one of those criteria was met, it would be considered a truck stop. And so I suggested if what I thought I understood to be the discussion of the work session was to go forward, that probably would need these couple of words as a change to identify. This is basically saying, and you were talking about would Maverick fall under the definition of a truck stop. And I believe that without those two words, yes, it would, as I understood the discussion.
Yes.
So if the intent is that you don't want what I understood Maverick to be doing at the present time, then I would suggest these two words change, just alter that just a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because a diesel, an 18-wheeler can still pull in there, fuel up, and be on his way. And
It's primarily the overnight parking.
Yeah.
If you're going to say that overnight parking without that change, if there is overnight parking, it would be considered a truck stop, even if you don't have either of the other two.
you know, at this point, and with the way the traffic is right there on the interstate and Main Street and try to get around, you have to be a pretty good driver just to get up there to get fuel.
Yes.
And patience, a lot of patience. So, Mark?
Open it for public comment.
If you have a comment, you're certainly welcome.
My name's Mark Openshaw. I'd like to thank the council for letting me come up on this, where we have a business that uses a lot of these services. And I've also had my CDL, and I've drove plenty of miles, more than I ever wanted to. We really want to look at this, and I've talked to the mayor about it, and I'm grateful that the city council took this up. Having a truck stop in a C1 zone will inhibit some of the businesses that you may want off those interstate exchanges. The interstate exchange, the on-ramps and off-ramps, on-ramps and off-ramps. However, I do believe that the city council should ask the planning commission to take this up in an industrial zone, because it fits definitely in an industrial zone. It's an ideal location to have truck stops because it meets the needs of what we want to have come into Santaquin. There's a place and location for everything. And a truck stop is ideal in an industrial zone, warehouses and etc. And so I would implore the city council not just to prohibit, but inhibit a truck stop at the same time in the right place. And we do have one more interchange that is a pipe dream on the north end of town that is probably our promised land of an industrial zone someday coming in. And that's why it'd be great for the city council to take that up.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, and that kind of was brought up in the planning commission. They didn't specifically say in the industrial, but they weren't opposed to a truck stop being in Santaquin. They wanted to leave it open so it was available, just that C1 zoning should be restricted and prohibited because it's just not the right location. And usually they're around, the orchards or residential, and we don't want a truck stop with 50 to 100 or more trucks right next to that type of environment.
It was also stated in the Planning Commission that there would be nothing prohibiting a business that might want to come and ask the council or in the Planning Commission for a zone change at that time too.
Exactly.
Well, I think at any time, anyone can ask for a change, and they're granted that by law.
Opportunity.
Yeah. Can I hear a motion to, for this ordinance to go forward?
I'll make a motion to adapt ordinance number 03032022 with the suggested change made by City Attorney Rich with the and either added to the definition, and to prohibit the use of the truck stop in C1 zones.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion at all? Dennis?
Just clarification, Mayor. Just for clarification, the motion was to prohibit it in the C1 zones, but I believe the ordinance is actually in the C1 and the PO zone. Is that right?
That's true. The PO zone is kind of there along with it. We don't even apply it to anywhere in the city. So that's why the focus is put on the C1 zone. But I guess that's a good clarification.
If it's in there, amend your...
Yes, including the PO zone as well.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is it a roll call?
Roll call.
It's a resolution.
That's not a resolution.
Resolution, ordinances, and money.
Oh, okay.
Ordinance still needs to be.
Yeah.
Roll call. We'll start with Councilman Adcock.
Aye.
Councilman Hathaway.
Aye.
Councilman Meekum.
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya.
I would like to follow through with Mr. Openshaw's suggestion that the planning commission look at what may be an appropriate location.
And that's a different issue at this point. Councilman Sitaway?
Aye.
Thank you. Looks like it passes. The deferral agreement.
Item number 12 is a deferral agreement on property that I own. I will excuse myself from the council seat in the discussion at this time and come back when it's over.
He just felt that was important. I agree. That's fine. So this is generally known as a simple, what did you call that?
A standard template that we use throughout town.
Yeah, so anytime anyone owns a piece of property, if their property is big enough and the home that is on it doesn't encumber the ability to create another lot, through the law, and as long as it meets the zoning ordinances, that split of a lot can be made. Some people do it to sell a lot and help pay for their home. Other people do it because they can split it off and a child can build a home on that lot. That's kind of the way things go in life. This is a simple subdivision, so we need a...
Mayor, this isn't actually the subdivision. That's approved at the Planning Commission level. This is a deferral agreement on the infrastructure, the curb gutter and sidewalk for that particular subdivision.
Okay.
And Jason can talk to that.
Yeah, so
you better, or I'm going to mess it up completely.
So this is something that's been done a lot, particularly for proposed developments that are done in the core area of town where there's no infrastructure. This is the older part of town that's the original plat of the city. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to figure out what particularly stormwater infrastructure needs to be in place to make that all work, and that's not being done at this time. But still, people have rights to develop their property, and this is something that's in the process of being considered, and the Planning Commission will be the land use authority on approving that. The reason this is before the council is because the city does not know the details of how that infrastructure needs to be installed. We consider these deferral agreements, which defer those subdivision improvements for a later date. It means that we're not ready for the infrastructure to be installed right now, and instead of it being installed in a place that is maybe not 100% understood that it should be there, or not having it stick out kind of on its own, we defer those improvements so that they can be done cohesively with other stormwater, particular stormwater, but other utility installments. So that's basically what the council is considering tonight, is a resolution that would defer the improvements for the proposed Adcock Acre subdivision, which will be considered at a future planning commission meeting.
That's well said. I thought we had to approve that as well, but it was done commonly.
It's because it was a small subdivision that authority is given to the planning commission. But it's probably important to note that every so often it's a good practice to go through and update our templates. And our legal counsel has gone through and certain items were pointed out that could be included in an update. And so we would implore and ask the council if you would pass it subject to approval of our city attorney, and that gives him the opportunity to work with Mr. Adcock and refine that agreement and then establish the new template going forward. It's no substantive changes, it's just stylistic and legal aspects of those changes, making sure that that template is up to date for future use.
Okay. I was going to say something, but I won't at this point. So I will entertain a motion that we move forward with this resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution 0302-2022, a resolution approving the infrastructure deferral agreement with Art and Sherry Adcock for the Adcock Acre 2-lot subdivision located at 295 North, 200 East. With the changes.
Subject to attorney review.
Subject to attorney review.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
It's a resolution.
Councilman Hathaway.
Aye.
Councilman Meekum.
Aye.
Councilman Sidaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya.
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay. Have a couple of things that we need to go through, and probably would like to start with the staff with their reports. Ben, would you like to begin?
I don't have anything specific that I need to report on this evening unless there's any questions from the council. Although I would like to, I'm not sure if you want to report on it or have one of us report on our meeting with our consultants that are helping us with the ARPA grant funds from the state that we had earlier today.
Well, I was thinking about doing that. However, I don't want to overstep a boundary.
Okay.
Because of the first of that meeting I wasn't able to be in, but I was in that last pit. As long as we don't put anything in jeopardy with it, because it's not a seal, but it is, it's something that we really ought to report on as we move forward.
Needless to say, Santaquin City is looking at obtaining or working towards a grant, an ARPA fund grant, which is federal dollars that is set aside by the state of Utah, and we're trying to get matching funds from the state and from the county. And so we are working with a consultant group that's working on that to help us with our water tank project, with our interchange, and potentially with some trails. And so the mayor and his staff, through the direction of the mayor, is working very hard to try to bring funds into Santaquin City to help our residents. That's probably a good way to sum that up.
Yeah.
And it was a very favorable meeting.
It's going very well. So it was a good decision as we move forward with that. So I compliment you guys on that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anything else, Ben?
I don't have anything unless the council has any questions.
Just status on the budget. When do you anticipate we'll do a review?
We'll be hitting up policy questions, and probably in the next couple of city council either work meetings or agenda items, any policy questions that are coming up. But literally, I'm actually working on it right now while we're talking, because most of tonight's meeting was Jason's, and and we're working on compiling and getting everything into the spreadsheet so that we can see where things fall in and fall out, and we can anticipate projections. It's going to be a challenging year with inflation rates the way they are. We highly expect that with the prioritization that the council has done, that you would authorize based on income and not plan on any if-come, and that as that income would be coming in, those projects would be authorized, and as more funds come in, more projects would be authorized, and we ensure that the estimates for costs are accurate so they don't overextend ourselves at all. So
Okay.
I think it's going to be a perpetual process this year, not a one-time process, probably amendments quarterly. So.
All right. Jason, do you have anything?
Just a couple updates for you. So tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow night we have a Imagine Santaquin committee meeting where the general plan will be presented to the committee, and we'll take any feedback that we can get. But the committee and really the council will involve you in this, and we want your feedback on it as well. But we'll have the next 2 weeks until March 31st to hear your feedback on this first draft of the general plan document. So that's something that you can expect. Other things, just kind of a general update for you on upcoming meetings. Due to a lack of agenda items, we may not be needing to have a planning commission meeting next Tuesday. There was a couple things that were in the works, but they never came through. So, and I didn't hear from any planning commissioners. I know that there's a lot of personal or individual requests to review things, and so we offered that to them, and we're happy to have a meeting to discuss some things, but we didn't hear anything. So that may be a meeting that is not needed. Next Tuesday as well, we do have a DRC, or Development Review Committee meeting, in which it looks like we'll have 3 things on the agenda. The Gray Cliffs preliminary plan has been submitted, and so we'll be looking at that. We have the site plan, a commercial site plan for the Wall Reception Center, which is actually just north of the Gray Cliffs property. That did receive a conditional use permit from the Planning Commission, and so the DRC will be looking at the actual site plan and working with them to make sure all those details have been worked out. And then we have the Vistas West development, which is west of the existing homes in Summit Ridge, which they are needing to do redo that preliminary plan they had approved. And so those are the 3 main things we have on DRC, and I guess Gray Cliffs preliminary plan and the Vistas West preliminary would eventually make their way to the council. So that's something you can expect on one of your future agendas. But other than that, that's kind of what you have for me, and I too am happy to answer any questions you have about things happening around the community.
Yeah, Jason, is there a public hearing on the general plan next Tuesday?
No.
Okay.
So the schedule on that changed a little bit. There was some things we needed to take a step back and make sure we addressed, and so really the next step is getting some feedback from the committee, from Planning Commission, City Council, everybody. We'll be looking to get that in the next 2 weeks. The next steps will keep you informed about what that what's expected. We still do want to have a joint Planning Commission City Council meeting to really have a good discussion about that document and that language. So I think that'll be good in preparation for a public hearing at the Planning Commission level, so that they can provide a recommendation to you for then considering approval of it. So
thank you.
I would like that too. I think that would be good. Norm?
Yeah, so just reporting on a couple of major projects. The tank walls are about a third of the way around. Moving forward with that every day, getting farther along. The City Hall, you may have driven by there and seen some structural steel is going up, and the wood framing in the basement is being installed as well. So that we talked about that a couple weeks ago, and that did start last week and is moving forward, and things are going fairly well there. Other than that, I don't have anything else to talk about, unless you have specific things you want me to address or questions I can answer.
No, I have appreciated the meetings I've attended with you lately, and many of the issues that even were brought up tonight about water and everything else. We have been in a lot of meetings over water and sewer and everything. So those things are moving along more than you know. Dennis, do you have anything you'd like? Okay. Councilman Hathaway.
Okay, a couple things. I'd like to report that we had our RAP tax meeting on the 9th. It was basically a work meeting. We reviewed last year's projects that were finished and the ones that weren't. Some of the money, I guess, is still there. The process now is that it's been opened up to start taking ideas for this coming year's projects, and they'll gather those, and at our next meeting we'll put those together and go through and see what we want to try to fund or not fund, and then eventually put a report together for the council to look at. The other thing is I had an opportunity me and the mayor met with, I'm going to see if I get this right, the USDA RD down at Rural Water, and they enlightened us on the issue that as soon as the next census comes out, Santaquin City will probably no longer be in what they consider rural status. We'll have lost the ability to apply for grants under the rural. So it kind of throws us into the little bigger boy area. So other than that, with that is that he basically said that if we're wanting to look at some money now, would be the time to be looking at that. And I don't know what the mayor thinks or has talked to the staff about, but I think if some of that money's there, we probably ought to see what we can do about it.
The issue was the availability of money that was out there, and their encouragement for us to be able to step right up because of our status. Our status would maintain until the next census comes out, which would be September, October, something like that. So if we wanted to get that low income or low interest loan for any reason, that we could step right into it fairly fast. So that was an encouragement. I don't know that we need it, but it's there. So
the only other thing I want to comment about that down there is I have a lot of admiration for our public works guys. Because sitting in those classes to get those certificates, tell you what, they got my support.
They would say the same for you and your dedication in attending actual city council meetings that they don't want to.
Some of the stuff they have to go through down there for that certification is. But anyway, that's it.
Okay. Councilman Meekum.
Just with some of the things that have been said tonight, there's all of us on the council, the mayor, a couple of us, it's our job on the council to watch out for the water. And I know that's always the number one concern. When any developer comes in, our first question is, where are you getting water? And I've lived here for over 30 years, 35 years now, and we've never had water restrictions that I can remember in Santaquin. When my co-workers in every other city from here to Salt Lake have had restrictions, we're very careful with our water, and I love that we've been able to do that. We're in good shape, and we want to stay there. And as the CUP water comes in, we're going to have more water probably than we know what to do with, but we'll figure it out. We've not turned any of that down. We don't plan on it. Some cities are selling theirs off and turning it down because they don't have a way to take care of it. Because of our great staff helping us with that, we've got a fund to be able to. It's expensive water to purchase the water, and we're gonna figure out a way with our mayor's help and us to use all that water. We're in good shape. I don't want anybody to freak out over we don't have enough water. We're still in good shape, but we do need to be careful. We're in the second dry state in the union, and it's a desert. So we have to deal with that. Some years we have water, and some it doesn't snow very much, like right now. So we do have to be careful. But thank you for the concerns tonight, and it's always a concern for me. Where's the water going to come from for all the homes? Thank you. Yeah, it's always a concern.
If we can just move to the end, you can come up and ask afterwards if that's okay. I'd like to kind of move the meeting on. It takes a really good meeting to go very long. So, Jeff?
With the legislative session, I don't have anything really to report right now. That's over. I mean, legislative session's over. That's nothing to watch.
I want to make it. I think something that you pointed out, that we talked about, that we brought up to our state rep about the cost of that would go up $2 on our sewer bill because of all the sewage that's dumped into Utah Lake has actually excluded us.
Yep.
And actually, that was a savings. I think it was caught very well, and we made some headway. We saved the city, everybody in the city, a few bucks.
Yeah.
Good job. Councilman Adcock.
The legislature allocated some money to fund metering on pressurized irrigation or recycled water for other cities. I'm wondering, since Santaquin was proactive and we've already metered our secondary water, if there is some process legalese to go through and apply for a rebate or a refund. Why should we be left out of the money bag?
No. They
Can you try to get with another answer, maybe?
We're proactive, and so no, we can't go back for a refund or anything like that. And we are fully metered. We're one of the. I mean, as far as water and reuse of water and having fully metered systems, Santaquin is number one.
Well,
and
we're aware of that, but we're being penalized for being proactive.
But let me answer your question in a different way. Because we are the poster child of wise water use, smart water use in the state of Utah, and in our discussions we had with our consultants with regard to the application for ARPA funds, it puts us in a much higher rating for other funding that could come in to perhaps offset the cost of the tank, remove some debt service on the backs of the residents for that purpose, and it gives technical merit. If you look at the projects that were put in for water, ours ranked out 16 out of 350 odd projects in the state because so much proactive work has been done by our staff and our council for many years and decades. And so we're in a very good position, and we can utilize what we've done to open ourselves up for possible other funding streams, not necessarily that.
Okay.
So,
second of all, we conducted interviews this week with Public Works. That interview staff is deciding which applicant they're going to hire, and there'll be a new employee hired for Public Works to work with Jason Calloway's department. I'll be going on Monday the 21st. I'll be going to St. George for a water conference Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then finally, I've been working with Chris Lindquist in the fire department and emergency services. We've put together an emergency services committee of citizens, mostly business owners, but not exclusively. And we'll be having our first meeting on Wednesday, March the 30th.
Councilmember Montoya.
Jason already reported on the general plan, so I don't have anything to add to what he said about that. And Youth Council is going strong. They're the best, and have some really fun ideas and activities and service projects planned, especially as the weather warms and they get closer to getting out of school for the summer. And the seniors are really enjoying continuing to have their weekly lunches and enjoying every minute of that before they end for the summer. So thankfully that's a couple months away. and it's a delight to meet with them. And the library, I think I reported last time on some fundraising efforts that they have been doing, and the librarian is doing really well with programming there.
Remind me, Rose
Larson.
Larson.
Sent me a message I want to give you about the library. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to report on a couple of things, but I'd also like to thank all of you that sat through this meeting tonight. I apologize because I have fun being here. I love Santaquin. You know, I love the changes. I love the people that have come in. And, you know, I know we don't all look at it in the same light as maybe I looked at it, even as a kid. And the things that I got away with, you'd all go to jail for. But I want you to know this is an incredible place. And the people, even though we all don't agree on everything, that's fine. And we need to hear it and need to work through whatever we can. Anything that was said tonight, please know we have taken notes, and they are on our minds, and we do not dismiss that. I think about this an awful lot. One of the statements you made was about Mike, was about the traffic, and I felt like I took that and went to work on it as soon as I got into this position, and we have been able to secure some funding that was not there a month ago. And we are now underway. I believe the contract, they're ready to roll on this, so that we are starting where we need to be. However, we're a little late getting there because UDOT doesn't look at us in the same light right now, well, 2 months ago, as they do right now. I think they understand what we're going through. We've got the ear of a lot of people, and we're looking at new funding that's helping us in even more ways to move this on, to preserve the corridor, to help us get this traffic situation under control. Does it happen fast? No, but we are working on it. And we are moving in a very positive direction, and we're trying to do it in a way in which we're not costing everybody tax dollars saying we need more, we need more. We're going to the sources that are the ones that are going to control it in the end anyway. And we have an incredible staff that have allowed me to go with them, and sometimes they say, okay, Mayor, it's yours. Start talking, and unfortunately, they get my side of it, and I appreciate that. I appreciate going to bat for this city, and we are making headway. I appreciate this council. I look forward, Amelia, to you working for the city. Thank you for accepting and coming on board, and I thank you guys. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to get the heck out of here.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No roll call there. Let's go.